Hello, everyone. So, I had a neighbor, and they're all like talking to me drunk, doing really a lot of low vibration shit, and I'm like, okay, see ya, and the elevator door that she's waiting for opens, and she's like, Chris, I thought, the rumors and everything that you're a molester, and it's like, and that's the bullshit I've been dealing with my whole life. And it's like people raping me with their children, roofie possessing me, roofie raping me. Um, and then they turn these child protecting networks into weapons. Like, you guys got a million missing children per year, and you're not controlled by, the actual molesters at the top, you know? Um, and a bunch of people showing me inappropriate things, doing inappropriate things, asking me to do inappropriate things. Um, and since I, had the How to Make a Monster book thrown at me, and I turned out all right. But nobody like informed Jimmy Dore when he came to Denver in 2024, like the neighbor a couple of houses down from me, roofie molested me and then, forced me watching their fucking child and had their child feel themselves up the whole night. Or just, I mean, you guys do that so much, like throughout my life. Even when I was a little kid, you'd like grab your child and pull them away from me. So the psychological warfare started off very, young and early. And not a lot of people get that background. But it's a story that I have to tell because I guess it's my story. I turned out well. I appreciate or something people raping me with their children. I just keep it above 18, thanks, and there's all this weird spiritual stuff that's associated with it because I'm connected with the high ranking spirit. So people are into that and yada yada. And I'm still trying to be proper about everything, and it's everyone else being improper with me. That's like, and then you lose me on your child protection shit because you're just abusing innocent people. There was that time I was at that trap house and everything, and I have a masturbation issue. I set up that desk, I put like a bed sheet over it. I didn't have a door. I put, tack a bed sheet onto that, and this, a resident there that stayed there, kept having their child like, enter my room and everything. And sometimes it would be when I was masturbating. And I had to cover up really quickly and run over, get them the fuck out of my fucking room. And, because I'm such a monster. And you guys keep on doing shit like that. You're like, give my teenage daughter a ride home. Well, congratulations, Christopher, for not doing anything with her. And it's like, yeah, like, I mean, and now that I think about it, like, you guys have actually been doing stuff with me, like fucked up shit. Like, nobody, the probably hundreds of people involved in roofing, molesting me over the fucking decades into my adulthood are never going to make the sex offender list. What about the people spewing chemicals into my fucking house? Huge fucking felonies, Ooh, I just saw fucking Israel fucking pesticided Lebanon just recently. Wow, that same fucking system, huh? And it's used as psychological warfare, and you fuck with the ESP people, and you like I come here like good intentions and everything, and I've been trying like to run for president and do what the people want. I didn't realize it was a shit show and just all made up and everything. At the time, I really believed in it, and I just have like really good intentions. And and then your bullshit fucking networks, why you have a missing million children per year, to do your little fucking sexual, bread and circus show, and I think you guys invent monsters a lot. You obviously trade around child porn just like the fucking people that create it do. Like, you do the same shit, and then you like to abuse people using the guise of child protection. It all sounds really evil to me. And then I'm just like, fuck it, just like let families, like, why is the sexual shit any different than other shit? So just like let families decide, and there you go. Then you have far less problems. It's like not fucking around with the bathrooms, with the trans thing that I mentioned in the upcoming videos where I respond to Ian Carroll. And I'm just done with it. It's been draining me. I used to dance around and, yeah, because I'm like a fucking, a young adult child fucking running around aimlessly, not even realizing that, and I want to get back to that because people have been doing nothing but inappropriate things to me and then just pretending, right? And then, and then it gets to retarded levels where you guys are just not paying attention. Let's just get this woman and throw her off the fucking thing. Oops, we didn't attach the bungee cord. Nobody's fucking paying attention and looking, and everyone's just, into this low vibration shit, but you think it's like high vibration. You know what? I understand why Michael Jackson faked his death. Because, like, even with the, like, purest intentions and people fucking with you, like, people probably fucking roofie molested Michael Jackson into his adulthood with their children. All right, just a whole bunch of malicious shit. And you go around and you calling people that aren't pedophiles. And then you just like fucking lose me. And then I'm like, well, yeah, maybe you're, almost adults and everything. Like, I don't really care about your young adults with the almost adults. And they're like, pedophile. And it's like, actually, it's called endophilia. And that's the, like I was 12, 13, 14, and I totally would have fucked one of my sister's, college friends. And people would have been like, actually, that's the same as like, 30, 40 or, 50-year-old or whatever, older, grabbing a 6-year-old, off the street. And it's like, those are not the same thing. You fucking emotionally weaponized fucking fucktard. And then you do all these low vibration things. You wonder why you're in the hell and your country is burning down. And then you miss the bigger fish. And then you're just fighting amongst yourselves. You take these, what's supposed to be like Jesus Light networks, and you twist and pervert them into fucking, all this stupid rumor bullshit. I don't care what people think anymore because, caring just empowers the fucking assholes. And the liars, and the deceiters, and the actual abusers that like to use the guise of child protection. People, can manipulate me very easily. Like there was that one time I went to that book meetup and everyone's like, let's check out, this fucking cellar in the basement. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then they had like some fucking 14-year-old or whatever, like follow around, and it's like, okay, what does that prove? That Chris is easily like, like people used to like come up to me in the dance club and be like, here, hold this. And then they'll like take a picture, with me. And, I could be kind of mindless as well, especially when I'm still cocooned. I'm still, living my whole life like not present, just totally traumatized, totally autopiloted. People trying to twist and make me into a monster, recruit me, and then pivot. Oh, it's just for child protection, and it's just a bunch of shit. And it comes from both sides, and it's like, and then I'm like, fuck y'all. And there's very few that are, in the middle and everything that see, eye to eye. And I guess I should take solace in that. So, yeah, I've had a lot of helpers, and I do appreciate the more reasonable ones that haven't emotionally just, like, got hysterical and lost their minds and start attacking innocent people and start doing the psychological warfare shit. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Everyone, did a bunch of inappropriate things to me is the actual story and the actual fucking facts, even though I can't really prove it because, getting Bill Cosby'd, people messing with my consciousness, trying to get my body to respond in a certain way, when I'm trying to be left alone and everything, then you're sending my fucking cousin that's dressed like a slut around, and pantyhose is a very slutty thing. And that's fine. Sluts are okay. But after raping me a whole bunch, and that's supposed to be some, like, yeah, we're really fucking, showing him, but yeah, it's coming from different members of the group, and you're just like one piece of a fucking huge abusive fucking thing, and I don't want to be a part of that. All right. And that's my right. and I keep things proper, even though other people don't keep them proper. And I'm getting over it, and I need to get over it. And I'm going to start playing with myself in a non-sexual way. I used to dance around, and I want to get back to that. And all this shit and all this psychological warfare and people trying to do, fucked up things to me, that's on the collective or the collectives. That's not on me. I turned out well. You guys keep on fucking pestering me like the annoying cop and whatnot that, heads to a head shop and they're like, we know he's selling and blah, 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 blah. You just keep asking him. And it's been like fucking 4 decades. And just give it up, but they're not going to because I'm not part of their club, so I don't have that protection. So they're going to be like, oh, look, we have the power to influence people to be, just a bunch of rumor bullshit, and I don't have the cheddar that Jackson has. So yeah, anyway, I'm over it. I'm getting over it. It was really hurtful to cast magic on me. Like, how would you feel if I kept you from all the love in your life? Because that's what people have done to me by casting bad magic on me. And people may not believe in the magic, but what if the magic worked? And I cast magic on you as a child to make love not work, and then all your shit was fucked up, right? And then you could get blamed for that too. And then people like, well, look, like what an asshole. There's a couple djinns showed up and fucking stunned him, and he just stood there fucking frozen. What a dick. And then he tried communicating with her in email, and then oddly enough, he was like pushing her away for whatever fucked up reason. But anyway, what a dick. But they wanted that fucking possession, and bullshit at magic that they cast on me to have a greater fucking, lashing out. And that never, ever occurred. And I still believe in helping these things, but I understand the spiritual aspect. I understand the technological aspect and the hijacking aspect and all these things where they could clone you and whatnot. So I actually really feel that I'm very suited for the job, but I think the president thing is just a show. And, I could be a guide for a revolution, which I want to get to. And all this petty shit and people fucking, not even helping me heal from the sexual abuse or giving me information because you want me airing still because you gotta bust the bad guy. You guys have tried really hard. Like people like Chris's story and whatnot, like if they get out, that's even more puzzle pieces to all this shit that we're figuring out. Right? So, and there you go. People do weird things. I don't even really have the ability to even fucking, really ask for sex unless I've been in a relationship and we've been doing that, a while. At least once, but, likely more times. Just because I want to be certain. So yeah, and it's always other people violating me, and they still do that with the guise of, blah blah blah, and then I come to the conclusions that I do because I'm just, I actually am trying to be fair and very reasonable, and I've applying everything that I've learned, to it, and I'm like, you know what, you guys would have just like less problems if you just stop fucking around, like the trans thing that I mentioned earlier, but I forgot to fully say. You just put penises, bathroom for penises, bathrooms for vaginas. Bathrooms for penises, bathrooms for vaginas. And then the only loophole that there is for that, because that solves like 99.99% of your problems. Locker room penises, locker room vaginas. All right? And the only workaround with that is just getting a sex change entirely. And then someone can't just be on some pills for a week or a month or even 6 months, and just start entering, the other, bathroom, right? And it's nothing, and not knocking any trans or anyone that, feels, like a woman or whatnot, but, just penises here, vaginas over there, until you get your sex change, right? And there. And then I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, even a lot of the sex workers that are of age, they don't have any protections under the law. So why are you giving the black market all the power when you should just like legalize it and have some like reasonable regulation? Duh. And then I just kind of like, okay, well, there's some families that are into it, some families not, and then why don't you guys just do that? Do that, and then and fighting a little less amongst yourselves, not making up problems amongst yourselves, able to focus better on other things, and that's why like you could see that evil would be like mask themselves as one of the child protectors and be like, actually, this is a totally terrible idea, because yeah, you wouldn't want your like time and resources and other resources freed up to focus on the worst shit. We're busy fucking making you guys fight amongst yourselves and everything, and it's like, yeah, so yeah, people have been doing that all my life, and I only just kind of became aware of it in my 40s, and it's like, they're like, but Chris, you breed a college girl, and it's like, yeah, I guess, because everyone's trying to get, child possession and child of God bullshit out of me, some David Koresh shit. Like I'm in the middle of all this Waco stuff, but it's not at a compound. It's just occurring in my fucking neighborhoods that I fucking move in because there is this global cult, right? So when I talk to Ian Carroll's like, oh my god, like why would you say it, 18 and above and everything? And it's like, because the fucking the godly people are fucking raping me with their fucking underage children. Like I'm like, okay, and I kind of get that aspect of it, like child of God, right? Or child of possession, some spiritual shit, some bloodline of mine that has been getting stalked for a very long time, and people are into that stuff, okay? And I'm like, okay, well, just please keep it above 18, thank you. And it's a good response from me because I can't tell if it's the child, fuckers, or I can't tell if it's the child protectors. So then I'm like, well, thanks for bringing your teenage daughter here. It looks like she has to wait like 5 years, though, if you're trying to make an offer. And that's my kind of like brush off, with that shit. Because I have to deal with this, some of the most extreme psychological warfare, I would presume, aside from like, shoving like a vial of LSD down my throat, and throwing me in like some like horror house or something fucked up. Yeah, it reaches almost those levels of psychological warfare, and people doing fucked up things to me, and I'm not really doing fucked up things to you, but y'all gotta pretend, and I'm here to help, and that's why they fucking get you guys to attack us helpers, and then I'm not into calling people pedophiles that aren't pedophiles, and that's just that. And yeah, so I can't really change what people do and think and say around me, and I'm going to start moving on with my life. These are subjects that I do need to talk about, but I'm over it. I'm over it. All right. So, these are going to be my last little videos about such subjects. I got 2 coming up with this Ian Carroll watch in response and everything, and I go into more depth about these things, and that's just that. I'm tired of people abusing me in the name of some bullshit righteousness. When often it's very, the exact opposite. And it's always the godly people that are doing something way fucked up with the underage children, and then the Satanists send me ones my age, or at least they'll like encourage me to go to the 18 or 21 up an event, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that's legal, and that's much better than what the fucking other side does. And it could be just like a Franklin scandal thing, and my whole family was in on it the whole time, and they were like, knowing that these bad things were occurring to me, I don't really have that information. I think that's some like bullshit to just divide the family more. I think I think it was way fucked up that that a lot of that shit occurred. Oh my God, you're fucking raping me with children and then having forcing babysitting on me and then having those children I babysit feel themselves up around me. And more. Up until like, I started pointing that out before I left Colorado Springs over to Denver. Then suddenly it's like, we gotta do other things. Wait for Chris to walk around without his glasses on. So then, like we could use that as you do all those little subtle things. Just like I talk about working at that gas station. They sent someone in that was 17 and I was supposed to sell cigarettes to someone 18 and up. But I thought they were 18, but they changed the point of sale equipment to not remind you of the date and everything because I was being so mindless and everything. And I was just like, very autopiloted. I scanned the cigarettes and I'm like, look at the ID and and they got rid of that. And it was almost like they created that situation just to make me look like a douche, right? I know it was some chick many years ago, but she was 17 at the time. Brittany, that worked at undercover for the Yorkville, Illinois police, and went to that BP and invented a situation. Just like you guys get. You could put that bait box in the middle of a parking lot and someone's going to be like, well, someone left this here, I guess I'm going to take it, and you're going to like explode it in them, and then you're going to be like, ha, you fucking thief, but you just invented that whole situation. And people are very desperate in America. So I didn't appreciate, in these other videos coming up here, I didn't appreciate that one that was like, with the suitcases and people are fucking praying, for a miracle. A lot of people are praying for a fucking miracle. And a lot of that involves money. And then you put like something that looks like could be money, like, placed in front of them, like their prayers have been answered. And what is it instead? It's some bullshit. And then they're not really a bad person, but they're like, yeah, I've been trying to like, manifest this miracle. And then I think it occurred. So I checked this fucking suitcase out that someone just placed right next to me. I thought it was an angel. But now, I'm thinking that they're just a bunch of assholes. Right? And it's very kind of similar to my situation too. So yeah, where people are doing things to me and I'm not doing things to them. And that's always the fucking case. If anything, I'm chasing someone that I really want away from me and I had no idea why I fucking did that for so long. But apparently evil magic is a real fucking thing. And it was only when I started becoming self-aware of it and I started believing it that it started losing its power over me. Because people are like, well, if you don't believe in the magic, it doesn't work. Bull fucking shit. Anyway, so I'm just tired of people's psychological warfare and your, stupid neighborhood watches that somehow, oh, everything's working really so swell that you're missing 1 million fucking children a year. Or are you just being fucking, corralled and contained and misdirected? While they just feed off of the whole population, because that's what it really looks like. But anyway, some people know what's up, and hey, I do appreciate those. I don't always want to complain about this stuff. Like this, okay, yeah, I was a sexual abuse victim, yada yada. People try to make me a monster, yada yada. Okay, that's all in the past. I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about the weird psychological warfare that still is like going to continue for the rest of my life. Whatever. I want to get back to my playful self, and I'm going to start doing that. And peace the fuck out. Oh yeah, so I talk also about like decoys and everything, which would be like a robot that looks younger and whatnot, and people be like, "Oh my God!" But then you'd understand some of the legit bait packages and bikes that you guys do, but then you get into a lot of illegitimate stuff too. So you guys would understand that. But I'm like, yeah, so maybe for each robot made, that actually is a child spared. That doesn't, deal with the demons that get off on ruining and fucking with an innocent, because that's what a lot of this stuff is very demonic, and you're fucking with innocence. And that's, like, I mean, I really don't need to prove myself to anyone. I've already, I'm like, wow, oh shit, all that happened, like Dr. Magoo and all those fucking traps behind me, and I finally fucking turn around and I realize what happened, but it like was in my 40s. People keeping me from being healed because they want problems. They want problems, and they want to be the one to solve it. We're the good guys. Right? We're working for the police and everything. Like, they wouldn't be all doing this psychological warfare shit and super evil shit to innocent people, would they? And yeah, I guess this is one thing that I need to talk about. I'm tired of being a victim. I'm not going to turn out to be crying like Virginia Giuffre and others for the rest of their lives about these things. But I have a right to say, that everyone else doing the most evil, horrible, covert shit you could fucking imagine, to me, and they do this to others too. So I mean, I'm not the only one. They do this, on a mass scale. And then you guys kind of like fight their patsy targets, and you get to react and make up things about other people, how they should be murdered, while ignoring the child murderers. Like, you really, like, legit, nobody ever, like, let's kill the child killers. I haven't really seen it. It's always these pedo chants. Get super emotional, accuse innocent people, mix them in with the fucking, monsters. I'm not on Peter Thiel's side. I'm not on Bill Gates' side or Hillary Clinton. I'm not on any of those sides. People are going to make it up anyway, though. And, violate me in so many ways with their underagers, with their upagers, and just very evil. It's amazing that I am not a psychopath with the amount of shit that was done to me. So yeah, I know I turned out well, and that's good enough for me, and that's going to make all this psychological warfare that is going to go on forever, I guess. That's going to make it lose its power, right? So, and I'm, kind of tired of people making up what they want me to be, and what I actually am, are two totally different things a lot of times. And I need to, remember that, I'm in control of things that I'm in control of, and, and I'm not in control of things that I'm not in control of. And just, people don't like my fairness, because I've exhibited a lot of fairness, in these videos, and this point of view that I have. People don't like me being fair at all. They're just like, I mean, I give the only credit that I can with the many violators of me. I guess they didn't kill me, but they're trying to, like, also mind control me into, like, some sort of monster thing. So, there's that. I mean, gee, and when I think about all this deep, dark stuff from my past, and, what people are doing to me, it doesn't really help. I've been through fires that people would fucking not be able to pass. And I didn't, as Gandalf said, the gray, because I'm like a gray character, right? As Gandalf the Grey said, I haven't been through. Oh wait, no, he was Gandalf the White when he said it, right? I have been through fire and death. Speak with the likes of you. When he said that to Wormtongue, he said something like that, right? And yeah, I have been through fire and death, and yeah, I guess I like some stuff that could be associated with homosexuality. I guess I could partake in some heteroflexible stuff or bisexual stuff. I really enjoy vagina, and I really enjoyed your vaginas that you sent me that were like my age. That was fine. I don't know why everyone's always, grabbing a fucking child or something, but the ones that were my age, sorry, I was possessed and that wasn't going to work. So then, the major psychological warfare, commenced, like maybe he's gay, maybe he doesn't like adults, and just a bunch of nonsense where you guys are like putting me in situations where I'm clearly not violating anyone. The only people violating others is like the neighborhood watch and all the fucking cop shit, and you think you're fucking solving crime, but you're really just fucking being used as a weapon on innocence. What, half the time is that worth it? Maybe some people will be like, well, half of them are, blah, blah, blah. And it's fucking nonsense. And yeah, I didn't join them, so that of course they're going to have their pedo whisperers that are like the whispers in The Walking Dead, steer the mob, whichever way they want, and I just need to just be self-aware. Knowing thyself is most important, and it doesn't matter what other people, what situations they could try to, make me look bad in, and bringing people that look like past loves of mine around. Because they just had this neighbor moved in next to me, and she's like 21, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they're, maybe trying to hook up some young chick and everything. She looks exactly like this Ashley chick that I grew up with. We went to the same school. I graduated in '99, but I was in school with her from kindergarten to third grade at Notre Dame in Clarendon Hills, Illinois. And she was Ashley like Webski or some name like that. Started with a web, ended with a ski. I don't know the middle that much. It's been a while. It's amazing I even remember that. But yeah, she looks just like her. Like she looks like the grown-up version of her. Like and anyone able to compare that, but they know what they're doing. Just like they brought someone in that looked like my first girlfriend, right, to try to make up an issue. Even though I didn't have an issue with really anyone there, except that one time. And what the thing that the urge, the instinct that I had was be like, wow, you look like my first girlfriend, and this is weird, and I'm gonna go now. And that was my first instinct, and I'm like, no, I should just tough this out, And whenever I fucking volunteered, she volunteered, and after a few times, I was like, hey, you want to hang out, and I guess that was too much, but yeah, So they get those little things out of me, like where I'll trip or something like that, and they're like, ha, and it's like, that doesn't prove any fucking thing, except in the minds of the hysterical and like the zombified mob that gets steered by the pedophiles that actually hide amongst the child protectors. And that's why you find so many pedophiles hiding amongst the child protectors, because this is something they do. They need to have their blackmail. And I can't really think of any way to like kind of free you guys up and get you guys to fight less than what I've thought of. And like an AI thinking for a few minutes, but it took me a few years. All right, and yeah, I'm like, well, why don't you guys just kind of leave it up to the families and the participants, the consenting stuff, and then you guys could focus on all the non-consenting stuff, right? I mean, that's like duh, like, right? But people are like, no, we need a make-up issue with the bread and circus and the Chris Hansen and everything. We're going to make a issue, and we're going to, lure like older adults in with, and it's like, yeah, but they're not actually the problem. That what the million missing they're not really the problem with the million missing children a year, and anyway. So I'm kind of like over it and everything, and yeah. So there's jerk offs on all sides there, and I respond to things the way I respond to them. Just like they bring their children around me, and there was this one time I like literally like shat my pants, and I shat myself, and I made sure to stand on the bus in front of this chick that was being brought around my way and everything, and that's very Deadpool-y too, because like shitting myself. Like, I mean, what would you do? You know, like James Holmes and everyone's been through all this stuff, been violated by children into their adulthood. Those 71 fucking schoolgirls were probably on their way to fucking rape people like me. But they're like, oh, they got a little lost. They're here. All the cops, everyone involved in it. You know, are you fucking kidding me? That wasn't that was no 71 innocent fucking girls. They were up to really no good. You know, and yeah, so they have the ability to manipulate people highly. You know, just they're always making up some sort of sex scandal because that's what that's what they trained into people, right? So they got some 16-year-old to sleep with Matt Gaetz, you know, and no one's losing their shit over that. And you know what? Rightfully so. You know, but he actually fucked an underager, right? You know, I mean, I at least I get raped by them. You know, I don't have a choice. So I get roofie raped, right? And yeah, then they started making up shit about Thomas Massie during the election and everything, some sexual impropriety, you know, and yeah, they have y'all rooked and fucking controlled, and that's why they're going to, like South Park touched on it during their 28th season, that they're going to get AI to generate your child porn, and then with that, AI is not held accountable. And then you guys could just fight amongst yourselves endlessly, right? And you could pass it around, or maybe the one side could sell it, and the other side could pass it around because you got to find the fucking predators, you know. And everyone's distributing it, and then you're just copying and pasting problems for fucking ever. Doesn't that sound great and productive, right? You know. So you know. Anyway, I was born on a waning moon where I have to say things that people don't like, but they got to hear. And you know, I could take it. And so, but I'm going to stop really talking about all this stuff. I have enough videos up like the past year talking about it, and I'm done. Someone wants to interview me with weird stuff, fine. People fuck with my facial blindness, good for you. You know, like I couldn't even recognize that hooker that was sent my way, that she was like, oh, you could totally come in this vagina. You know, and she moved some items around my apartment, and I didn't realize that to the last day that I fucking moved in there. It was like literally the last spot, and I'm like, oh, that's where she put the stuff. I thought she stole the stuff. And I saw her at the Colorado Springs, you know, bus terminal, and I couldn't recognize her for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, who are you? You know, but I mean, you look familiar, but like, who are you? Yeah, the facial blindness stuff. You know, and I eventually do, you know, certain faces I do really recognize, you know, and I have a hard time, you know, judging, but then everyone's trying to fucking, you know, either, yeah, you know, like, I mean, they're doing the David Koresh thing to me, you know, and there's a lot of child fuckers that are trying to like offer me, and then there's like child protectors that are trying to just like fucking bait me, I guess. Right, you know, and then I'm just like, keep it above 18, and people be like, how dare you? And it's like, I can't, like they create a no-win situation. Just like I asked a classmate, you know, in school of mine, I'm like, you want to go somewhere and fuck? And how dare you? You know, and it's like, no matter what I do, you know, it's always the wrong answer. Right, you know, and they like to twist it like that. So extreme levels of psychological warfare, and it's just nothing but people doing inappropriate things to me. Even the cops taking Playboy away from me when I was a fucking teenager and shit, because you're trying to make me look a certain way, and you're trying to do this, and you're trying to force that, and you're trying to force this, and you're trying to force that, and you're trying to roofie molest me into this, and you're trying to roofie molest others into that, and it's just a bunch of fucking shit show. You know, and then I'm like, oh, that's why they fucking put lead in the fucking thing, because they cause brain damage, and sometimes people have these weird symptoms, you know, and then they could play into whatever symptoms they're fucking having, you know, as a result of being poisoned and blah, 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 and we get people to attack each other, and it doesn't sound fucking productive or good or positive, and I don't subscribe to that stuff. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out, you know, I don't want to, you know, because I'm such a pedophile, I don't want to eat or fuck children. or sell my soul for the job of presidency. So I'm trying to think of something else. And I was really like, I had my heart and mind set at that, since 2012. Getting sent to jail for shit I never did because I want to help people out. Getting totally, fucked and suppressed. And then you guys like look at your world around you, at least the community, and shit's falling apart. Shit's good in my world, but everything's falling apart around me. Yeah, like isn't that the kind of like what you guys do though? Like right? Where especially when you get it wrong, a lot of times, or well, just my kitty is distracting me. She meowed and you fucking threw my train of thought off. You threw my train of thought off, but here's my little kitty. Here's my little kitty. She's my little joy. Mm, yeah. I've been taking care of a bird out in this cage I have on the balcony that I used to keep the cats in, but now I don't really use it anymore. And I kind of like put all my plants in there to kind of keep the squirrels away from it. And anyway, there's this injured bird that I have in there. And so we are not going out on the balcony for a little while the bird heals, hopefully, and flies away one day, right? So we got this bird in there, kind of recovering from what seemed like an impact because it was just chilling outside for like 2 days on the side of the exit here. So I brought it in, and we're going to see. Definitely much more pleasant to deal with animals than it is with humans. We really vile, easily misled, launching false accusations at everyone. Yeah, like there was some bands and everything. I don't know, did that Dancing with the Dark guy actually eat people and babies, or was that just made up? Because there are some good people that get caught up in these things. Now that we know that Hollywood is pedowood, we could just fucking, be honest about it, and stop the fucking around. Be like, this is where the penises go, this is where the vaginas go, or, vagina, bathroom, penis bathroom, vagina locker room, penis locker room. Stop fucking around when you're just direct. Cut the shit out. And that's what I do with the freedom thing. It actually starts to look like freedom, and then I'm like, oh wow, there was those 26 minutes missing from Eyes Wide Shut that you guys probably should be concerned about. Not the Rainbow Room where it's a bunch of consenting people. It's like, yeah, why don't you guys go after the non-consenting stuff? That really kind of perplexes me. And then you guys make up issues, and I'm not into that. And I'm like, well, how about some decoys? And people be like, oh no, we want problems. That's why you guys never healed me. Like I fucking wet my bed into high school. No one told me that was like some sort of abuse sign, because y'all want a fucking problem, right? Deep down inside, and you want to be the hero to fucking solve it, right? So yeah. And then you guys, lifelong torture people that have good intentions on helping you. And then when they fucking realize that, it kind of, does sap that, gee, I want to help others out. It really does. I still would like to help others, but like, whew. Like, and oh yeah, and then taking love from me my whole life, making me look like a dick about it by fucking casting evil magic and possessing me. Wow, holy, how much more violating could you be besides getting a fucking knife and penetrating my skin? Like seriously, I don't think any more fucking violating, but there's I'm not creatively evil. So I'm sure there's a few more things they could do before they escalate to some sort of knife or something. But yeah, anyway, I'm not going to worry about that or my past or what people make up about me. What people want me to be and what I actually am are just two totally different things. And that's just that. And I turned out really well being an MK Ultra mind control, unaware of all this stuff until my fucking 40s. Until my fucking 40s. I just, started having good feeling orgasms. I just kind of got healed. because there are, not all of you are assholes, thankfully. It's your saving grace. It really makes me, because I had help, and it's like, even though people make it difficult for me, I still, received help, and I am appreciative and grateful, and I like to pass that forward, because I just don't want to do evil things, and regardless of what people think. So yeah, you know, and yeah, it could be fair about these things, and more fair than people would like, than their hysterical, emotional ass would like. But that's they're just part of the matrix and everything. I feel bad for that one neighbor and whatnot because I feel her brother was covertly murdered. Targeted by an AI system that likes to target a few of us to see what it'll get away with. Just like it's probably, intentionally murdered a few people in Teslas, and they're like, oh, it was just a little accident. Couldn't open the doors. Oopsie. And it's testing all these fucking things out, just like Julian Assange. They're like, they did the voice to skull, and they're like, go kill yourself, go kill yourself, go kill yourself. They do that shit to like normal citizens, and I think that happened to my neighbor's brother, and I think that happened to my other neighbor Abel when I was at Plaza on Platte a few years ago, and they do these things, and they'll make you think that you're a bad person, but then when you take a step back, it's like, wait a second, you guys have been doing nothing but bad shit to me, all sorts of bad shit, and then you'll set up all sorts of bad situations, that I end up actually, doing the right thing on, but that's not good enough because if you're going to 4 decade someone psychologically warfare and secretly attack them, wouldn't it just be better to just go on? Like, come on, like Chris, we could bring our fucking 16-year-old in here, make them look like they're a fucking older. You'll have a hard time fucking telling because hey, they're tall, and we could do something in a certain way to try to make you look bad, and it's just anyway, I need to think about the helpers and the nice ones that are able to critically think still without fucking losing their minds, and being easily misguided. There's definitely some of those out there. And so if the humans have any saving grace, it is that group of fucking people. Anyway, peace the fuck out. Oh yeah, I wanted to add really quickly. Like they've sent me lovely women my age, and a lot of them, weren't in like doing any major drug or something. But there's been a few that they've sent that have been like meth heads and super irritable and annoying and whatnot. So not those. I'm not going to deal with that fucking party shit, meth shit anymore. We're just on different wavelengths. Sent to menace me. It doesn't mean that I can't be nice and return Misty's bag either. She was an old, one sent to me. We were actually like the same age. We're like born 5 months apart, 4 months apart. Anyway, yeah, she was very lovely, but she was a meth head. And then you sent me like an awesome, amazing match, and then the magic and everything repelled it as it was supposed to do because that was placed on me when I was a child. Really fucked up, right? And then a lot of people aren't going to believe that. Half the shit here, people aren't going to believe. That fucking neighbor that I feel bad for, she doesn't believe in any of this shit. She's like, shut up, whatever. My brother committed suicide. If I didn't fucking have my RX pills, I'd fucking do the same. And it's like, and I can't save them all. And just like in the Matrix movie, they will fight tooth and nail to keep the system. They don't want anything changed. But you guys are due for a change because you guys are really just, doing a lot of bread and circus, doing a lot of show, focusing on the odd consensual shit and ignoring the odd, the more fucked up non-consenting shit, which is odd, and I'm just like, oh my god, there's a lot of downward punching shit here. People like to, again, invent issues. I can't wait to have children so then I could like fucking, roofie molest somebody or rape somebody with my child, and then I could continue, for a long time, to just abuse other people for the protection of my child. How's that sound? Yeah, so I could be like some of you, you know. Anyway, peace the fuck out. Oh yeah, another thing is like I say that it like feels like half and everything. It feels like half the people, right? Because, well, I mean maybe and maybe that's a miscalculation on my part because I'm like half of them are involved, half of them aren't. And that's because you guys play these stupid little games and everything. So it fucks with my perspective, because the child fuckers, they're like trying to make secret offers, and they could pivot to like, oh, we're just trying to protect children, and then they have the child protectors all rooked with their fucking pedo whisperers amongst the group that are steering the group and everything. With the ones that don't want to comply, right? So yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, so yeah, if it seems like because I grew up, and with all this shit happening to me, stalked by the cult for life, weird, roofie raping me rituals, with their underagers, but not before roofie possessing me with like some demon or more on top of bad magic. And it's like, whoa, and then it starts to like, add up. And then, yeah, they were trying to Jeffrey Dahmer me. They were trying to do all sorts of shit. All right, there was that one TV series or something on Netflix, like How to Make a Murderer, but this was like How to Make a Monster, and like the whole book thrown at me. So the way that I turned out is actually really fucking amazing, and I am going to retain that amazement. I've been a little shocked over the past year or so since I've been realizing and adding all these pieces up that I've been fucking figuring out. And yeah. So, pardon if my if it is a miscalculation. It really feels like it's just half at this point, because they want you civil warring over that instead of revolution. A proper revolution where you guys actually go after the child murderers. You guys never ever fucking say let's murder the child murderers. Yeah, I mean that's an easy one right there. Like, here, why don't you put the bungee cord on before you throw that chick? Easy, easy,